So I was going through the bookshelf the other day, and I came across an oldie but a goodie, Fate of Istus. And I thought I'd do a quick overview of it and share some thoughts today on Greyhawk Grognard. So, back in the day, when TSR was about to transition from first edition AD&D to second edition AD&D, they had the idea to come out with this module, which would help bridge the gap between the two systems, right? It's got a little badge here that says compatible with both first and second edition, so that's fine. The adventure, obviously, is set in the world of Greyhawk. It basically chronicles a bunch of adventures in different cities across the continent. And at the end of each chapter, at the end of each adventure, there are world-altering events that may or may not happen, depending on what the PCs do in the adventure. And I've got mixed feelings about this one. It was written by a bunch of different authors, and it shows. Each author did one or two or three different of the chapters. They were, Nigel Findley, Dan Salas, Stephen Innes, more Nigel Finney, more Dan, Rob Kuntz. Those are basically the authors, and some of them are better than others. As adventures go, I'm not a big fan of the book, which is not to say I don't think it doesn't have redeeming qualities, but the adventures themselves they're kind of unexceptional, if you know what I mean. They're not bad, but they're not terrific, and they don't seem worthy of the changes to the setting that they're trying to introduce. And what I mean by that is, at the end of each adventure, as I mentioned, we have the Judgment of Fate, Istus, the god of fate. And for the first one, as far as Istus is concerned, yada, 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 if the PCs fail to meet the criteria that are set, all thieves in Greyhawk lose a point of constitution. Does that mean in the city of Greyhawk? In the world of Greyhawk, they don't really say anything. They don't really give you any more information than that. It's little things like that. There's let me get another example here, if I may. If the plague, if the adventure is part of the overall campaign and the test was failed, all druids in the Flanaess will lose 1 point of constitution. And they have different things like that throughout the book. And I think it's a missed opportunity in that sense, because, rather than, you all lose a point of constitution, or you all lose 1 hit point permanently, or whatever. If I was doing it, and I thought this at the time, why not take advantage of the fact that they were going from first to second edition and have the consequences of each adventure in the book be that the mechanics for the class changes to accommodate second edition. So like at the beginning of the adventure, everybody is playing under first edition rules, but by the end of a given chapter in the book, okay, now all clerics are following the second edition rules. That kind of would have made, to me anyway, more sense. And I know it's Monday morning quarterbacking 40 years after the fact. I know. But I thought it the same at the time, so I'm covering myself. But it's just, it feels like it's arbitrary, and it's punishing characters across the entire continent that, for things that they have absolutely no control over, and for no real reason. I mean, do the PCs who are going through this adventure really care that they just took a hit point away from every thief in the Flanaess? I don't, especially when they don't know that that's a consequence. I don't see how it's a motivating factor. A, if they don't know about it, and B, if it doesn't have any personal consequences. Yes, if there's a thief in the party, sure, but it's not just that thief, it's all thieves. So it strikes me as a weird way to go about it. And, but on the other hand, there are some really nice bits about the book. There are some really nice NPCs at the back, really well fleshed out and developed. The one guy with the intelligent sword, the half-elf, is particularly interesting. But where I think this book really shines is as a sort of mini gazetteer of a bunch of different cities across the Flanaess, because this was at the time the only place that you're going to get maps of a lot of these cities, like Journey, or Realm Mord. Although this is not a particularly great map for a city that's supposed to be as big and important as Realm Mord. But you get that, and you get information about the city itself. There's each section starts off with a blurb about this is what you're going to find in the city, and so forth. So from my perspective, it's more. For example, here's Elred on the Wild Coast, and it looks like a bigger urban center than Realm Mord, which is absolutely no way that should be. So in that respect, with a little tweaking here and there, I think this really works best as a source book for the 7 or however many cities are detailed in it. Because, again, this was the first time, and in some cases the only time, that they gave details on some of these locations in the setting. So from that perspective, it's absolutely worth getting a copy if you can. I have no idea what they're going for now on eBay, but I've seen them around here and there, and it's something that you often see in the used book box at some of your game stores, because it doesn't really have a stellar reputation. And again, I wouldn't use it as an adventure, but I do use it all the time as a reference book, so that's how I come to recommend it as something that belongs on your shelf. So, anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever run it or parts of it? If so, what happened? Tell me about your experiences with the module. And thank you all, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.